So here we are with Roy again on take 43, and surrounded by all your friends and wife and everybody. Now, Roy, I just want to talk to you about, you told me, and I remembered I knew you earlier when you worked at Windforth Atomic Energy Establishment, and you were involved in some sort of accident. It wasn't a nuclear accident, but you were dressed in some fancy protection suit.
Frog suit.
Yeah, and something went wrong, didn't it?
It did indeed. It wasn't too obvious to the people standing around, but I actually collapsed and I died from lack of oxygen. Unfortunately, to get oxygen in, you had to open the suit, and I was in a radioactive, I was just in the danger zone.
Right.
I was in between where the exchange, and they generally blow the dust off you and things like that, whatever you've got to do. I was accompanying a mechanical engineer, you see, so if anything electrical wise, which was my...
You were an electrician, weren't you?
I was electrical,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so what happened? Do you remember?
Oh, I do.
An experience? Tell us about the experience.
I'm probably way ahead of you, really, because it's so clear in my mind. I remember a funny feeling for me. I dropped down on my knees and I couldn't understand it because the day was beautifully sunny. The rhododendrons were out, everything, and I felt what a great day it was. I get to work, and this funny thing starts happening to me, and the knees give way, and I just went down on my knees, and then fell forward, like that. But I didn't hit the floor. I saw myself there.
You saw yourself from above?
On the floor, face downwards. There were, I have to say there was, well, it was important. There was a big pair because they were fighting to get me decontaminated and at the same time resuscitated. See, I've had helpers all my life. Resuscitate.
So they were resuscitating you, but you saw yourself from above?
It was just before they started to resuscitate. They didn't touch me before then, but they were dragging me out.
But you saw them dragging you out, did you?
Yeah.
You saw them from above? I saw them,
and I was thinking at the time, don't bother, boys. Don't leave me. I'm okay. And I had this feeling, sensation in turning, just above my body. I'm moving upwards. Lovely. It was most lovely feeling. You know, it's like summer flowers in winter. It was beautiful. And I thought, oh, this is good. You know, and I'm going slower, and then I realised I'm going quickly, and I thought, never mind them, let's look up. And it's all this beautiful scenery.
What do you mean by scenery, Roy?
The scenery all around me was what I expected it to be. Now, later on I found out what that was. Doctors would tell you it's the hallucination kicking in. You know, your blood, the brain deadens the blood.
That's their theory.
Yeah, that technically, clinically can be right. I didn't put it that way at all.
No.
I put it that I wasn't going to get let off so easy. Because it said, I remember the words, the first words was, breathe deep.
Breathe deep.
Oh gosh. I didn't want to listen because I knew what that meant. Breathe deep. Oh, I could feel it retarding, you know, slowing down. I thought, oh, crikey. But perhaps it was a forethought too, what I had to face. But anyway, it's just breathe, breathe. Now, I remember telling a doctor the other day about double breathe, a doctor here. she said, you did the right thing, because I had a bit of a do. She said, you did the right thing. Double breathing. Double breathing to me is taking a breath and then registering it and take the breath out.
And had you gone down a tunnel or anything, Roy? Had you seen that?
Well, it was more open than a tunnel.
More open. There was no tunnel.
No, not really. There was a tunnel in the beginning, but you see, you go out and it becomes all expansive. That's where I wanted to be.
And do you think that at that stage you realised that this is the other side? I've had it on. I've gone through. Or were you just perplexed about?
I felt convinced when I went to court. I didn't get much money for it, but I got a lot of good credence. They gave me a job for life. They were very good.
But were you convinced that you'd had a near-death experience? Did you realise that?
I had conviction.
Yeah.
I had conviction there and then. With the experience I've never had. I had clairvoyance before as a youngster. Yeah, I did. Can't deny that could happen. And I'd like to feel I've tried to tell the truth throughout my working experience.
So has it helped you, Roy? Now you're facing the final curtain, as they say. Do you feel?
I didn't feel it helped me then coming back. No, I have to say that. But again, I didn't have the love that we have got.
Well, you didn't have Barbara here.
Didn't have Barbara. I had to come back to. I waited a long time, and so she had to get it together. And we went through a lot of decisions. You know, it's not always out to build a family of love.
And you had to give up work, didn't you?
I had to give up work eventually. 5 years prior. Because of the infection, and also
did you had to, Royston, did you not have to learn to talk and walk again?
Oh yeah, that's when I come back. That's when I come back. That's the clinical side, but the experience was undeniable. I learnt it when I went to court in London, the Old Bailey, and we decided to settle outside because the terms were the most we can give you is 3,000.
It was their fault. There was a fault in the machinery, was there?
Legally. No, it was no fault, that's what they paid.
Right.
But I had a chance of a pension, this, that and the other, or work. And I couldn't imagine myself not working. I've never fought for work. Work is good medicine. So I said I would prefer to work. And you know, they gave me the easiest job going that I love doing. Somebody asked me the other day, what was the best job in your life? And I said Wintry.
And what were you doing afterwards? Were you?
Oh, I was inspector.
An inspector?
What was it called now? There's a special name for it, audience inspector.
Yeah, right, okay, so you checked everything over?
Well, stuff that was coming in was made outside, and there were certain people selected for their work where you had to measure it. You know, if it said 13 threads, it could be slightly different to what they had outside. It had to be spot on. Yeah, it's audit.
So to wind up this little interview, because we've got news at 10 coming on in a minute.
Oh, is it? Well, all I can say, they treated me good. When I did retire, voluntary, at their suggestion, they said we'll give you a working pension as if you worked. Yeah, well, I did work after that. That was in 1979.